Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There's a few questions that I sort of want to answer. I saw some comments on my YouTube videos about some very interesting Star Citizen sort of topics and some other bits online that I was just like, oh, actually, let's talk about this. So, going to talk about three things today. We're going to talk about the soft destruction system, and it's basically just the prelude to a much better system. It is a temporary system. It is very much sort of placeholder, but it is really, really cool. A lot of people are touting it as like one of the best things in Star Citizen, but as I said, temporary system, placeholder. We're also going to talk about crafting in Star Citizen and what we don't know about it, which is quite a lot, unfortunately, and because we have no idea where Cloud Imperium are going to go with it, and the Scorpius Antares being useless without a co-pilot, and that co-pilot position being pretty boring. I saw some people praising the soft death and soft destruction mechanics, as I call them, for Alpha 3.18, and I just wanted to talk about this a little bit, because I agree. I think soft destruction, soft death is absolutely fantastic. One of the best features of 3.18. It enables piracy on ships like legitimately, boarding. It gives a load of interesting sort of experiences and scenarios where your ship gets blown up and you survive on board. And that's cool because that means you can call in for help and it gives you a bit more sort of interesting gameplay there. But the soft destruction system is just a temporary system. So it was also added, yes, to add some additional gameplay to 3.18, enabling boarding and piracy legitimately and stuff like that. But it's also so that you can basically move cargo containers from a ship that's been destroyed to another ship as well. So part of the cargo refactor means that you can move these larger 1 SCU cargo containers. The sort of commodity cargo now has been physicalized, and you can move it with a tractor beam to another ship. Bam, bam. And the soft destruction system means that if a ship is in the soft destructed state, then it's got its cargo intact on board. But another reason that was added to 3.18 is so that they don't have to deal with entities exploding out of ships so readily. Previously, every time you shot a ship that had cargo on, the cargo would erupt out of it, so a percentage sort of now erupts out of it if you blow a ship up fully, and that still happens. So, if you shoot a ship past its sort of soft destruction state, you can shoot it more, boom, it explodes, a percentage of its cargo may survive, and sort of get distributed around the area. That is incredibly resource-heavy on Star Citizen servers and clients. So, although this is a temporary system, it is steps towards, or is at least a sort of glance, a little glimpsey at what's going to be happening in the future, because Cloud Imperium are working on the resource management system, so this is the circuitry of ships, but that will lead on to physicalized components and engineering gameplay and a load of other stuff. But physicalized components, once we have those in the ships, will mean that we don't have artificial health pools for ships. Literally, your projectiles will impact a ship, and if they've gone through the shields or whatever, and they'll hit the hull, and then they'll do damage to the hull, and then eventually those could penetrate through the hull and hit components therein. But also, I suppose, the circuitry itself, and you could hit relays and all these other things as well. But you damage a component, you destroy a component, well, that means that that ship no longer has access to that, you've disrupted it, and if you take out the right components or destroy enough of the circuitry of a ship, then that ship is going to be effectively disabled. But it can still be repaired, and this is one of the other things that Cloud Imperium were talking about recently. You're going to be able to do a load of this engineering gameplay on a ship, and one of the things that mechanics will effectively want to do is putting out fires, making sure that components are fixed, literally taking potentially parts off other components, cannibalizing them to fix another component, but assuming that you've got components and parts in stock, you'll be able to change the subcomponents out, you might be able to change the whole component out, you might be able to play some little mini games to sort of fix the problems with a component, and there's lots of other stuff that can happen with these components. They might just be malfunctioning, they might be experiencing various types of wear and tear, there's loads of different types of malfunctions. But yes, you can basically take a ship that is thought to be destroyed and replace some of the components and get it back up and running. At least potentially. We don't know what sort of level destruction is going to be available for Star Citizen ships in the future. Like, how how likely is it that large sections of a ship will break off? Because if a big section of a ship's broken off, or it's been cleaved in two or something for larger ships, well, you can't put those two sections back together, as far as I'm aware. So in some situations, they will be truly destroyed ships. It is a way off yet before we get all this in-game. It's something that we'll start to see some bits and bobs of it later this year, just little bits, and then sort of next year we'll see a lot of implementation of more and more. Cloud Imperium did say they wanted to get the resource management system starting to get into the game later this year, so that is something to look forward to at the very least. Another thing I wanted to talk about is crafting in Star Citizen. So in 3.18, we've got very limited crafting, which was a bit of a surprise in the salvage ships, the Reclaimer and the Vulture. You can go to the dispensaries there and use salvage materials to produce yourself a RMC canister or to make a multi-tool or a multi-tool attachment. Absolutely fantastic. Now, we know that Cloud Imperium want to do a load more types of crafting, but we don't know exactly what. And there could be a huge range. We know that you're going to be able to do some sciencey based crafting stuff, sort of making some chemicals or drugs and things like that. We know that you're going to be able to build bases. We know that there is a economy in Star Citizen where there are basically factory nodes that will want the iron and things that you mine to turn them into components, which then get made into other things, and then that sort of produces the demand and supply cycle for the universe. Cloud Imperium have been talking more about crafting, just that they're working on more, but no specifics on exactly what. Very much looking forward to Cloud Imperium talking about this, but I'm hoping that it includes sort of munitions and things like that. It could go all the way up to being able to craft components and spaceships potentially, but we don't know yet, and we'll have to wait and see. The last thing I wanted to talk about today is another question that I or at least comment I saw on my videos, which is the Scorpius Antares is effectively useless without the co-pilot. And it's not useless without the co-pilot. It is massively taking away from its effective role without the co-pilot. So for people that don't know, Scorpius Antares is a heavy fighter that's a two-seater, but it's effectively a quantum sort of jammer / EMP ship version of the Scorpius. The Scorpius, the standard one, has two seats as well, but the co-pilot, the second seat, is in control of a gun that goes from the top to the bottom of the ship so it can move around and give really cool fire arcs. Now, even if you just fly the Scorpius or Scorpius Antares just with one person, just as a single seater, it's got quite a lot of forward-facing firepower. It's basically an X-Wing. It's got these 4 guns on the front, pew, 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 and a load of missiles. But yes, you lose, especially with the Antares, you lose a huge amount of its utility without having a co-pilot in there. Now, the other thing, as a follow-on, is that co-pilot doesn't have that much to do. It might be quite boring for them, because all they're in control of is the quantum jammer and the EMP. Maybe if they were in control of the missiles as well and have had the ability to do scanning and have a load of other controls, that would be much more interesting, and maybe that's the route that Cloud Imperium will decide to go. Now, this might be a good ship to have an NPC crewman in, or maybe an AI blade if it allows for it, that would sort of automatically activate those systems under certain circumstances or when you tell them to. But there probably are some roles in Star Citizen which are going to be relatively boring for some people. It's got another seat which does these things. It controls the quantum jammer and it controls the EMP. Well, that's actually quite boring because you're only going to be in sort of combat relatively short amount of time, right? And if you're only in control of that, that's not much to actually be in control of at all. At least if you're in control of a gun turret, you have to be aiming constantly. That said, there might be a load of other things to do on your mobiGlas, and maybe there will be other systems that you can interact with. And if that's the case, great. Anyway, boom. I just thought that was a sort of interesting sort of questions and comments that I'd seen on my YouTube and online. And just wanted to talk about them, really. But I'm interested to know what you think. Are you excited for the stuff that comes beyond the soft destruction, soft death system? Are you looking forward to that sort of new gameplay coming this year and next year? What about crafting? What do you want to be able to craft in Star Citizen? What do you think we're going to be able to craft? The Scorpius Antares, do you think it's useless without a co-pilot? Do you think the Antares itself is just a bit of a meh ship and quite boring for the co-pilot? Also, if you've got some interesting questions that you want answered or topics you want discussed for videos like this, then please chuck them in the comments below. That really helps. But whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. It's 2023. There's no need for a VPN like NordVPN, right? In the modern era. Wrong. What's this, a Silent Hill styled ad? No, due to copyright, it's actually a Quiet Mound ad. But that siren means that someone's got my browsing data and hacked all my sanity away at Starbucks. Oh no, that guy's got a triangle on his head. Ah! I've never had a Silent Hill incident while using nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. By God, can you risk not having it? Well, probably, but why take the chance? NordVPN can help you access more content on the internet from more countries in a safer and more private way. It's an essential tool in your arsenal in 2023 against the legally distinct triangle head. Check out the links below for one hell of a deal. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For March, we are giving away an Argo Raft, the mighty little hauler that could. Soon, it should be able to make use of its 32 SCU cargo boxes, but in Alpha 3.18, it's going to be able to make you some serious Alpha UEC from cargo hauling. It also comes with a game package and lifetime insurance, all you need to get started in your Star Citizen career. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting the channel. Please consider becoming a YouTube member with the join button under our videos or using the links below Patreon. It really goes the extra mile to support us making daily content for Star Citizen. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe and share it with your space friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.